Testing 1, 2. Good morning, everybody. All right, we are live. So I am just going to go right into it. Hi, guys. My name is Donnie Rouse, and you are listening to the podcast One Life. Movement is not momentum. It's so easy to get stuck in the thought that moving, just the act of moving, is actually moving us forward. Well, I am willing to say that the majority of movement is actually not moving you forward. It's keeping you right where you are. The inspiration behind this podcast came from this weekend as my family and I were all getting together for our family dinner. And I heard my mother talking on the phone with my brother, who lives a little bit further away, a few towns over in Connecticut. And he was driving down, and I had just driven down this highway. And so there was a ton of traffic on the Merritt Parkway. And so my mother's advice to my brother was to take the post road, like the main road, because I'm telling you, I do it all the time. There's never any traffic. And it made me think about life and just how we take actions towards our goals. Because it's one of the things that I have to be conscious of when I'm moving towards my goals, because we want to feel productive, right? We want to feel like we're doing something because maybe there's some worth that is being derived from that busyness. But the truth is that it's a lie. The truth is that these actions are actually, while yes, they may be important, they are what is keeping you from doing the important things that you need to do in order to move your life forward. So let me dive into that story a little bit further, but let me start with the intention behind this. My intention here, and I want you to set the intention with me, is just to see clearly the actions that you're taking on a day-to-day basis and really, really evaluate and see, like, are these moving me forward? Are these moving me in directions, or are they just keeping me busy? What I hope you will do is start to uncover those busy things and say, no, what is the action I need to take that is going to move me forward? So back to the story. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about this. And I thought about my own drives on this highway. And a lot of time, even if, Google, we have the beautiful thing of Google, which literally is tracking traffic patterns, right? It'll route you the quickest way to your destination. And so my brother plugged in, and as I have in the past, you plug in the destination. And it says, okay, take the Merritt Parkway. Traffic delay, 46 minutes. You're like, oh, shit, 46 minutes. Oh, my God, this sucks. There has to be a better way. But the computer is actually pointing you. It knows exactly which way you need to go because it knows what the traffic is going to be like if you were to take the post road. It's also taking into account the fact that there are traffic lights and there is a lot of turns, people turning off, so there is a delay there. So you're on the best route. But sometimes it's tempting to get off just because the fact that you're moving, even though you're not really going very far, the fact that you're moving makes you feel really good. I've fallen into this habit a lot of time. I'm like, no, I just want to see a changing environment. I don't even care if it's going to take me longer. I just want change. But how true of that is that of the goals that you have? How true is that of the time commitment in going towards the thing you say you want? Looking at my own life as an example, I know in building my coffee company, there are a lot of actions that need to be taken. Sometimes I don't do those important things because I'll lie to myself, telling me like, oh, but there's just so many other things. I got to do this. I promised this person I would make this, and as a result, I delay the important actions. Which I'm really doing is I'm delaying off my dreams. I'm putting off my dreams. And the important thing I want you to come away with is that it's only by stepping into that discomfort, it's only by doing those important things that you're going to move forward. And the feeling of, maybe it's fear, the feeling of not being perfect, is actually only amplified by delaying that action. Long story short, what I really want you to come away with is that not all actions are created equal. And that while it may feel like you are standing in one place, that you're not really moving forward, sometimes that is exactly where you need to be. I'll go on to tell you one little brief story. I was talking with my friend Jen, and I was I was talking to her, and I was just sharing my frustration. I'm like, I feel like things aren't moving forward. She's like, well, what do you mean by that? The best thing she could do was just by asking questions, because by her asking the questions, and now all of a sudden it made me stop and reflect. So I'm like, well, I submitted this to this lab. Now I'm going to get this other lab work done, and I'm submitting stuff to them, but I emailed them and they still haven't responded. She's like, okay, well, you've done everything you can. You have to wait now. And it made me take a step back, and I thought about that. I'm like, yeah, that's so funny. I'm trying to be hard on myself. I'm trying to drive towards that destination, drive towards that goal. But the only thing it was doing was stressing me out. And the only thing it was doing was robbing me of like the joy. But when she asked that question, it made me reflect and realize that, I am taking the necessary steps, and that there is a timeline that is not mine. Like I could say I want it done yesterday. But it doesn't mean it's going to happen like that. And the only thing I'm doing by putting an unrealistic timeline on some of the results is stressing myself out. and that doesn't feel good. Now, don't tell me, I'm not trying to say it's not good to put a timeline. Because by putting a timeline on one of your goals, what you're doing is it really helps you align what action needs to be taken in what order and in what time period. So it helps you, it gives you the target. But sometimes that target is not in your control. You could only do what you were able to do and what's in your control, and be okay with that. So let's bring it back together. And so as I was saying, not all work is created equally. Movement doesn't necessarily equal momentum unless you're doing the momentum moving actions. So let's look at our day. What actions are you taking that are moving you in the direction you say you want to go? And if you don't know where you want to go, then that's the first problem, right? How can you go anywhere if you're not sure as to where your destination is, where the endpoint is? And if you are taking actions or you're keeping the busy work, do not beat yourself up over, right? It's just a course correction. The next question is to say, well, all right, well, what actions are going to move me in that direction? Likely when you ask this question, you're going to bump into some fears. You're going to be hesitant because maybe you're a fear, what if things don't turn out the way you want? What if people are going to judge you? I'll give you one more brief little story about this just because it's relevant. So I was talking with my coach, and I had wanted to do a real ad for my coffee, because one of the best ways to put your out there is to start marketing. I never really market my coffee. Why not? Because my coffee's awesome. So I told her, I was, I have a goal. I want to make real. I want to start doing real ads. She goes, great. All right. Well, when are you going to do it? And I was great. By next week. Weeks passed, and I had not yet completed that reel. And then in my last session, she's like, well, what's the deal? Why aren't you doing it? And there was the fear of like putting it out there and it not being ready, not being good enough. And then I committed. I said, all right, fine. This week I will do it. As I'm doing it, I noticed that once I went into the process, once I started drafting it, I started to enjoy it. And once I was done, I was like, man, this was actually pretty fun. I want to do more of these things. And I tell you this because she's like, when I had my follow-up call, she's like, well, how do you feel? I was like, I feel great. I feel like I could do more. I actually enjoyed the process. The point is that sometimes the fear, you paint this picture that it's worse off in the future when the truth is it's actually much, much better. And it's the pain of staying and not taking the action, staying on that fence, that is far worse than actually taking the action. You're always going to be better taking that action that is in alignment with your goals than staying where you are. There it is, mic drop. So I hope you are hearing what I'm going to say, and you really look inward to say, okay, well, and be honest with yourself. What actions are you taking that are just keeping you busy? What actions do you need to take? Well, first, what actions are you taking keeping you busy? What is it that you're really going for? What actions do you need to take to move in that direction and to achieve that goal? And then take the action, realizing that you're always going to be better off by taking action because you're going to get feedback and you're going to move forward faster. That is it, guys. I hope you enjoy this episode. I hope it just got you asking some different questions and hopefully will inspire you to take some different actions. If you have any questions, you can send them to me via my website at www.donnyrAus. Again, www.donnyrAus.com. There, you can also leave a comment. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you found this helpful, share it with 5 people whom you feel can benefit from it. And that is it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed this episode, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you spending the time here with me, and I hope that it benefits your life in some way and just helps you move and visualize the dreams that you have for your life, because you deserve to have them. God bless you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, you only get one life. Live fully, live passionately, and most of all, live now. God bless you guys, and I will see you again soon.